It's finally happening. California politicians are giving taxpayer-funded free cell phones out to illegal immigrants. We've got the bombshell story on that and how we're fighting back. Plus, a Palestinian terror watch suspect comes across the border into California from Mexico in the San Diego sector. What we know about this suspect and how the media has buried the story. All that and more coming up. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and no doubt California Democrat supermajority politicians, they certainly like an open border. And their Sacramento swamp special interests like it as well. The politicians, the Democrat politicians like the open border because they get the votes. The special interests just want cheap labor. And there is this corrupt alliance between big business and these liberal Democrats to keep the border open. That's why a lot of rhino Republicans go along with open border policies, because big business lobbyists basically buy them off. Oh, they pretend to be wanting a secure border, but not at all. Here in California, we know about the impacts of illegal immigration to our communities, increased crime, the taxpayer burden, the impacts on our emergency room and our healthcare system, the fact that, yes, migrants do take up shelter space as we have a homelessness crisis. On and on, the burden is borne by you and me. It's also a national security threat. We'll talk in a moment about that Palestinian terror watch suspect who was caught coming across the border. And the liberal media in California, of course, doesn't want to cover that story. But now we've got the latest offensive policy from California Democrats. It wasn't enough to give illegal immigrants cash assistance. It's not enough to give them plane tickets anywhere around the country. It's not enough to give them social service, what do they call them, navigators at taxpayer expense to help them goose the system for welfare. It's not enough to give the free health care. No, now we are giving free cell phones at taxpayer expense for illegal immigrants in California. Here is the story in the liberal blog Cal Matters. 10 years later, California may finally allow undocumented immigrants cell service subsidies. Notice how California Matters, the liberal blog, and they pretend to be a centrist, nonpartisan news source. They say finally. May finally, like, what took you so long? Of course, this is a great policy. We should be wanting this. This is late. No, it's offensive. It shouldn't be happening ever, period, full stop. They're talking about you being forced to pay for the free cell phone service. And it's not coming out of the general fund. It's coming out of an increased utility rate that you're paying for your electricity. Remember, I've talked on this show before about billions and billions of hidden state fees and taxes that are added to your electricity bill. So when you see the rate spike, recognize that that's not just because of the Green New Deal, Greedy New Steel regulations that cause the cost of our electricity to go through the roof in California. They're also stealing money from you by raising your electricity rates and taking that money and giving it to other people through these public purpose programs that are added onto the cost of your electricity rates. So here it is. The California Public Utilities Commission issued a proposed decision last week that all Californians should have access to a state cell phone service subsidy program. All Californians? No, just the favored few. Goes on to say, even if they don't have a social security number or they can't immediately provide one. In other words, even if they're an illegal immigrant. Let's be clear about this. They're trying to dress it up. This is a substantial policy change that basically is geared towards giving illegal immigrants free cell phone service at your taxpayer expense. They call it the Lifeline application. The Lifeline application? You're watching videos and, TikTok and all this other stuff. That's the Lifeline programs. Just please. People say, well, if someone needs a cell phone, well, let's get to the root cause of why they can't afford a cell phone. Probably it's their drug addiction or alcohol habit, or we're just giving people out the freebies. Then more importantly, everyone else in society has a cell phone. So if someone doesn't have a cell phone, I'm sure they can actually, if they need a lifeline, can say, hey, can you call 911 for me? I mean, just again, lifeline. The title of these programs is pejorative. It is narrative driving. And it's, you can't criticize the Lifeline program. Yes, you certainly can. I don't think that taxpayers should be paying for someone else's cell phone bill, not just to make phone calls for your Lifeline. And by the way, most of these plans probably give out, you can make a free call even on a phone that doesn't have service anymore. But it's TikTok videos and YouTube games. So it is a program to give these free cell phone services out to people, the chosen few in California. So now it's going to be illegal immigrants getting these. Of course, they say, well, it's also homeless people that might have had their paperwork stolen by government when their tent was cleaned up. Like anyone's cleaning up tents in California. So there you go. Illegal immigrants going to be getting these taxpayer-funded cell phones soon in California. Let me bring you to the story that is being censored by the liberal media in California. New York Post had the courage to run it. 3 Palestinian terror suspects caught after crossing border illegally as overwhelming agents warn, I probably let terrorists in. And there's a photo of the suspect. It was a picture on his phone. Here it is. Looks like a real great guy to have come across the border. Yeah. Do you understand what's actually happening? The border is not just a burden on illegal immigration, for illegal immigration. It is a national security threat. Many people are going to end up getting hurt because of the negligence of the Biden administration, Kamala Harris's failed border czar role, and of course, what California liberal politicians are doing to goose up the system and incentivize illegal immigration with all the welfare benefits that they're dangling in front of the illegals. The terror suspects love coming across in migrant waves because as the Border Patrol is completely overwhelmed with illegal immigrants being incentivized by Gavin Newsom and California Democrats with the freebies, free cell phones, free healthcare, et cetera, these guys slip right in because it's just impossible really to do the job with that wave of illegal immigration coming across. But they were detained, these 3 Palestinian migrants illegally crossing in middle of July. And we've got some of the photos because I've got my Border Patrol sources. So in addition to that photo that you see right here on the phone, here are some of the other photos that the New York Post did not run that I got my hands on. Here's one. He's got a picture of, let me zoom in here. Oh boy, that looks like a whole stash of bad, dangerous weapons and items. And then whatever the hell that is, that's like a snake, probably a symbol for a terrorist group. On his cell phone, he's got a picture of this. This is who we're letting into this country. Another picture that I want to share with you is this one. Again, not included in the New York Post. Here we go. Zoom in on that. This guy is standing, the rifle in his hand in a different pose than the one that the New York Post used. Here's a close-up picture of the dude, one of the dudes. There he is. Yep, make him famous. And of course, here is a screenshot from the actual Border Patrol situation report. And I protect my sources. You can't get this on the internet. You can't get this this screenshot is from a computer system that is only accessed by Border Patrol agents. Here is the evolving situation report, ESR IMB 2407064. Arrest of positive match to TSDS record. That's the Terror Watch list. July 17th. On Thursday, July 7th, 2024, at approximately 2:30 a.m., an agent assigned to the Imperial Beach Border Patrol Station encountered and subsequently arrested a subject who was later identified as Ziad Alimani, Palestinian citizen, between the primary and secondary fences within the Imperial Beach Border Patrol area of Operation Zone 3. And it goes on to say that he has been verified to be on the Terror Watch suspect list. And he's currently being held, as of July 17th, at the Imperial Beach Border Patrol Station, where the subject will be processed for removal. Oh, interesting. Just, hey, we're gonna drop you off on the other side of the border. Well, you know what's going to happen next. He's just going to get across again, and it's unlikely with the surge of migrants at the border that we're going to be able to capture him and detect him. This is the record of the Biden administration, and it is being censored by liberal media. And it's happening right here in Southern California. This is why I tell people in California that you cannot just move to another state and expect our country to be protected. You got to stay and fight in California. We got to change the open borders, sanctuary state, free welfare policies of California liberal Democrats. We have an obligation as patriots to stay and fight, because you're not going to get a secure border in California, even with a Trump administration. You're not going to get a secure border in California unless you deal with the liberal contagion that runs this state. That's why at Reform California, we are staying behind enemy lines here in California. We are fighting to shift the entire political structure here in California. And I know that it seems improbable, but we are moving the needle. We are starting to flip seats. The House majority in Congress is all because of conservatives here in California flipping 5 seats in 2020 and 2022. And now we've got to defend in 2024 6 defense seats, and we have an opportunity to pick up about 1 to 3 additional House seats. But we also need to break the Democrat supermajority in the state legislature so we can stop some of these crazy policies, the pro-open borders policies that Newsom has out there, including the free welfare. Check out the website, reformcalifornia.org. Chip in a contribution so that we can fight this battle and bring out the truth on stories that the liberal media doesn't want to cover, like that Terror Watch suspect coming across the border. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.